Hello and welcome to Krista So Crafty. My name is Krista. Today we're going to do something a little different. I have this clay pot and I thought we would do some mosaic type work. I thought, how about we go ahead and pretty up this little terracotta pot by using a bunch of these glass beads, losing beads everywhere, and just some, I'm pretty sure I've got some grout here and I think that'll work. I have some Mod Podge that I'm going to take and apply to the outside of this surface so that it puts a barrier between the glue and stuff and whatever it is I'm going to put inside. I think I should still be able to use it as a pot to put flowers in. I would think so, but that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take the Mod Podge and put that on. All right, let us begin. And I'm just going to put a light coat. Now, if you had some sort of some other sealer, you could definitely use that. Boy, I really dunked that in there. But I just thought I'd use this. And I put my mat down just because I'm messy with paint and glues and stuff like that. So I put my green mat down here to protect my surface. So we'll just give this a light coating everywhere. And of course you could use whatever. I mean, if you had like old china, you could use that. If you had some snips that you could cut them with, you could absolutely use that. You could use diamond pieces to create a design. You could use beads. That would be very cool as well. All right, I think we're good. I think we have a good coat all the way around that's not too thick. So as you can see, this is almost completely dry. So I'm just going to give it a quick pass over just so we can move along. Yeah, it's almost dry. I'm just going to let that sit for maybe a minute and then I will come back and we're going to start using this tacky glue to put our glass beads on. And maybe I'll choose a bunch of these blues and we'll do those around the top. But other than that, the rest are just going to be random. So I'm just going to pick out a bunch of these blue. There's kind of like it's like a smoky blue. So pick out some of those while we're waiting for that to cool down. I'm sure I have enough of these that I can go all the way around the top on this rim here. As far as the supplies, I do buy a lot of stuff from the dollar stores, whether it be Dollar Tree or Dollarama. That's what we have here in Canada. The ones that are close to me anyways. But you can also find all of these supplies at any of your big box craft stores. Michael's, Joanne, anything like that. I think that's all the ones of these. So I hope that's enough to go all the way around. Let's just do this. Oh yeah, I should have enough, right? Yes. Perfect. So let's start by seeing if this is open, which it is. And I'm going to, let's just put a little dab on the back of each of these. Shake this down. And then I'm just going to stick it on right here. Now the nice part about this glue is I saw it somewhere here. It's ultra strong, dries clear, non-toxic. So I think this is going to work perfect on here. So I'm just going to go around and center these beads. And I'm just going to let these touch. And then when we go to, actually, you know, I'm going to leave a space. Let's leave a space. And then when we grout this, the grout will go in between. It will go all the way around. So I'm just trying to evenly space these. And if I find if you kind of push down, it kind of suctions it on and holds it. All right, I'm just going to continue on. All right, putting the last one on. And I'm just going to monitor these until they kind of set to make sure they don't slide. I'm just going to ensure that they are stuck down. And then we will come back and start putting these ones, all these colored ones, down below here. And those ones I'm just gonna go be random. I don't care what order they go in. You could do, actually I might do a flower. Ooh, wouldn't that be pretty? Do a green in the middle. I think there's enough room that I could do a flower. See, something like that. And put that right there. Maybe do that a couple times around. Maybe I'll try that. I'm gonna make 3 flowers out of the red and the green, and then I'm just gonna fill in the rest of it with just other beads. See, that one's sliding down. Just gotta watch them. All right, so now that these are dry, I think they look good. They're evenly spaced. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pencil and I'm just going to put a mark right in the center of this kind of area here. And then because I'm going to put on 3 flowers, I'm going to try to even this out. So I put the 1 mark there, and then I just kind of took my fingers, right? And I just kind of laid them out. And I'm like, yep, that'll work. So right about there, I put a little mark. And then I took and I turned it so that I could see this mark and this mark. And I found the center. And from there, I put a little mark. So this one's actually got to come down a little bit. And these pencil marks will be covered, so it's not going to really matter. Now this time, so I used my tacky glue and it's wonderful. It's working great, but it does take a little bit for it to set. And in the meantime, it's kind of slippery. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hot glue gun and I'm going to put a little bit of the tacky glue and a little bit of the hot glue on here. And then I'm going to stick it on here. And what that'll do is the hot glue will make it stick right away, and then the tacky glue will dry over time. So a little bit of tacky glue, a little bit of hot glue, and then just put it right on top of that pencil mark, and the hot glue will cure right away, and then the tacky glue will dry over time. I'm going to flip all of these beads over, and what I like to do is just put this glue on right away on all of them. And then I'll go along, and every time I go to put one of these on, I'll put a little dab of the hot glue, and I'm going to put that right on here like that. And I think this is going to work a lot better. All right, we have one more to go here. I'm going to stick that in there like that. And there we have one beautiful flower. So now I'm going to repeat that same process with these other 2, and then I'm just going to start filling in with all these colors. All right, so I'm just gonna let these set a bit and to make sure that they're gonna stay on here. And then I will come back and I will continue filling in the blanks. I have let this set for a bit and dry so that the glue could dry. And now I'm going to go along and I'm going to use these to kind of fill in the blanks. And do that. And I'm gonna stick it on. Now I'm learning that if I push this down with the glue, hot glue side first, and then do the little glue side, it tends to stick. If you do it the other way, then the regular liquid glue kind of squishes in through the hot glue and then it doesn't stick. Things you learn when you're crafting. So let's do a white one. I thought these might be just something a little different in here. And then we'll just plop this one here. And I'm just going to continue all the way around. Well, I still have some big spaces here, and I think what I want to do is kind of fill them in. I'm going to dig around in my stuff and see if I have some little beads or something that I can put in there to kind of fill in those holes. I have some of these. You know, they're kind of pretty, sparkly, look like little diamonds. I'm thinking, let's put some of these on here, because why not, right? So I think I'm not going to use any of this glue because these have the pointed backs on them. I think I'm just going to do this. Put a dollop of glue. I can try to get it so that it's flush, so it's flat, right? Like that. And then this we can use to fill in the holes. And I think that'll just add some more bling to it, some more pizzazz to it. And of course, I will take my heat gun to this and get rid of all these strings. All right, I think that's enough. I think once we get the grout on here, I think that's gonna look very cool. It's definitely gonna be blingy. All these glues. Okay, so let's get that heat gun out here and try to eliminate some of these strings. Let's move some of the stuff out of the way. I'll put those back in that container in just a minute. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this set for a good 24 hours. So tomorrow I will pull it up and we'll start working on it again, and we'll add all the grout onto this. And this, leaving it that time, will allow all the glues to dry and for everything to become permanent in there. I will see you tomorrow. I'm not going to let all of these go to waste, these glass bead thingies. Can you see all those? Like, look at all those. Leave a comment down below if you have a suggestion that I can use these for. I think it'd be fun to get these used up, and they'll look much better on something that we can use rather than sitting in a bag in my craft room in the drawer where nobody can see them. I went and purchased some grout because I thought I had some, but I didn't. I did buy the pre-mixed, and I got a bright white. It's pre-mixed, which is wonderful, so you don't have to do any mixing or anything like that. And it is in the white, so when it sets, it'll be kind of this color. And I am going to use some rubber gloves because I'm going to use my hands to apply this to the flower pot here. Get these gloves on. I just want to show you, this is all completely set, as you can see. It's all completely set. And I think it's going to be so pretty. It's definitely going to be blingy. So now when applying grout, if you've never used grout before, this is what's used in between tiles, on the floor, or on the backsplash. I'm going to bring in a little container of water here, and I have this little makeup sponge thing and just a cloth. If you read the instructions on this, it says just to dampen the surface. The other thing it says is once we apply this, we get it all worked in where we want it, and then we need to wipe it off, any excess off, right away. So I'm just going to work in a little section at a time just so that it's not too much going on. All right, so let's just give this a whirl. No better way than to just jump right in, right? So I'm going to use my finger to kind of squish it and make sure it gets underneath. And I'm going to make sure that it gets in between the flower petals. And like I said, I'm just going to do a small area at a time, using my finger to kind of push it down into those spaces and stuff. And I don't want to go too far on the bottom because I want it to be able to sit flat and sit straight. Guess I don't really need the popsicle stick. I can use my finger. And I'm making sure that this is smooth. So yes, I'm removing some of it. I'm just making sure that it's kind of smooth. It's going to lay down nice. So now I think I can go in with the sponge and just start smoothing it out and removing this grout and stuff from the marbles. Except I need to wring it out. It's too wet. See, it's already starting to dry. So we need to work fast. That's why I wanted to just work in a little section at a time. On it. I'm using my finger to tap down in between so that there's no ridges. As far as the grout, honestly, if you can find an even smaller container of grout, absolutely do it, because I have so much grout left. I will be able to do 100 projects with this little container of grout that I bought. Okay, I think that that's good enough. I'm gonna let this set. It is the next day. I let it dry for quite a while. And I'll just put on some Mod Podge. I'm just using the matte. I mean, if you had shiny, that would work as well. Nice part about this is that it's water-based. It's a sealer and a finisher, so this should work just fine. I think I'm gonna find a wet wipe and just wipe down the glass beads. And now I'm just going to just wipe these down a bit, just so that they don't have glue all over them, because basically that's what the Mod Podge is. It's just a glue. All right, so this will be the last drying session, and this project will be all done. When it's dry, I will come back and I'll show you. And I just wanted to point out, if you're using this, make sure you have something down. Because it's got the color in it, it definitely stains. I tried washing this off and it won't come off at all. So be very careful. Make sure that you use something that you don't care that gets paint on it. This is just my craft mat, so I'm good with that. So I will see you when this is dry. So here's our pot all done. I think it turned out wonderful. I love the little flowers on there. I think they pop out so nice. They look great. I love having all the other glass beads. I think they just add. And you know, it's definitely not perfect by all means, but I think it turned out really well. I really hope you enjoyed this project and are going to give it a try. If you do, feel free to go and share it over on my Facebook page, Krista So Crafty. I'll put a link down below. If you would like, you can feel free to share your project there. I would love to see it. And I really hope you enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun, and it did take a little bit more time because, you know, all the waiting for the glue to dry, and then the grout to dry, and then the sealant to dry. So it's not a project you're going to get done real quick, but it's definitely worth it. It's such a great project. Thank you for joining me today on Krista So Crafty. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel and click on the bell to receive notification every time I upload a new video. Thank you again, and happy crafting.